Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. So today we'll be reviewing the game of the day from chessgames.com. So once again, another Thal game. I love Chunlai's Thal's game because of the crazy tactics that he used to defeat the opponents. So yeah, this is the game from 1991. The winner is Naidov. So this is a game between Michael Thal and Bent Larsen. So probably just open the analysis thing and uh-oh. Okay, so just import the PG, just turn on the engine, go to the Cosmo. So probably okay, so the game starts with E4, the king's pawn opening, E5, knight f3, knight f6, sorry, knight f3, knight c6. Okay, once again a roll plus. So bishop b5, a6, the knight of variation. This is knight of right? No, this is Morphy defense. So knight of is something why you play Sicilian and Knight of right. I'm not sure why do we play Knight of. I guess in Sicilian 9 we play the pawn a6 move, which is a Knight of variation, I guess. I don't know, maybe this game would be converted into a Knight of Sicilian. I'm not sure. So okay, the Morpheus defense, bishop a4, knight f6, short castles, bishop e7, rook e1, b5, b3, bishop b3. So dropping the bishop back to b3 square, targeting on this diagonal. Okay, d6, c3. Okay, so probably hiding the bishop on c2, I guess. So after the knight plays a5 move, bishop c2, c5, d4, opening up the center, queen c7, h3, bishop d7, knight d2, pawn takes d4, pawn takes d4. Should we call it c takes d4? So c takes d4, c takes d4. Okay, attacking on this bishop c2. Okay, dropping up. What's the weird move is this? Just blocking the rook's ability to get out. I'm not sure. Who is this playing this with? So white is Tal, I guess. I'm not sure. Okay, white is Tal and black is the Ben Larsen. So just continue the line. So bishop b1, short castle, knight f1, knight c5, sorry, knight c6, b3, opening up the bishop c2 diagonal, rook e8, bishop b2, bishop f8, knight f3, sorry, knight e3. So still I'm just learning with the coordinates. So I'm just trying to name the coordinate of the move without saying this thing. So so that's why I'm just saying the coordinates in the wrong way. So I'm just practicing by by saying these pieces in coordinate space. So I'm just trying to learn that. So probably this forgive me for making mistakes. So I'm just learning process. So yeah. So queen b7 move, knight d5, knight takes d5, pawn takes d5, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, pawn takes d4, rook takes e8, rook takes e8, queen takes d4. Wow, so yeah, great diagonal, but you should be calculating on this as well because of this diagonal is blocked, so the bishop was not the bishop cannot keep checking the square for a while. Similarly for the queen's case, so I guess probably after this check, hiding the king on h2 is better. So he played queen c8 move, so maybe targeting on the h3 pawn, so something like after capturing and captures with the queen, and then followed by a check, I guess. I don't know. Playing d3, so bishop d3. So playing bishop d3, so you blocking this check, so as you can just also hide the bishop to guard the f2 square. So even in future if it takes, this pawn will be guarded by the bishop on f3. So bishop on f1. Okay, queen c5, maybe to trade the queens. Tal avoided it by playing queen h4. Now striking, I'm not sure why he's moving this pawn. You can just capture it, but I don't know why he played that. Okay, let's go on. f5, rook d1, rook e7, queen f4, rook f7, bishop e2, bishop e7, bishop h5, rook f8, rook e1, bishop d8, queen g3, g5, rook c1, attacking the queen, so kicking him, maybe forcing him to take the d4, sorry, the d5 pawn, I guess. But he's still not capturing this. What might be the reason? Probably, yeah, probably because of this c3 move, targeting two squares of check. But this can be stopped with this, right? Uh, we chose to play this move, forced to move his bishop, and then have some kind of threats this way, I guess. I'm not sure about it. So after the queen b4 move, so queen e3, targeting this pawn as well as this diagonal. So a4 targeting on, sorry, a5 targeting on the a2 pawn, queen a5 targeting on the a2 pawn. Okay, now queen a7 targeting on the bishop on d7. Okay, he's counter attacking me playing d2. So if queen captures d7, then queen captures b2 will be played. So queen captures d7, queen captures b2. So now his rook is under attack, and also the pawn is under attack. So Tal should be playing some extensive moves, probably I guess c8, the rook c8, attack on this bishop, I guess. No, he played the rook e1 move, probably doing some checks this way, I guess. So let's say he captures, I play this. If he didn't capture or he captured the other pawn, then I can just go for this line. That's a mate. Or even if he captures this way, sorry, or if he even captures this way, then just capture with a check and grab the bishop. So that would be an idea. So that's the reason to play e1, I guess. So he played g4. Wow, what a check. So he sacrificed a bishop. I guess it's a temporary sacrifice, I'm not sure. So after this, I can just play, what can I play up here? I can play this move, but he can just drop here we can just capture this, or if we block with this, then I can just capture and capture the bishop. Okay, that might be an idea, I don't know. So he played the bishop f7 check after the g4 move. So king is moved to the corner, capture the pawn, attack the rook. So rook captures bishop, then queen takes d8. So he brought the queen back to g7 square. Oh wow, this is a good tactic. So queen takes rook, queen takes rook on f8. So queen f8, queen takes f8 plus check, and queen takes f8. Rook e8, queen takes e8, bishop takes e8, pawn takes h3, pawn takes h3. Hmm. Now his move should be some kind of consolidation, because he has a first pawn on this way, so he should be consolidating this first pawn and try to capture other pawns. Meanwhile, then you should find some way to figure and push this pawn. That's it. So bring the queen to the center, as close to the pawn, and just push the pawn. That would be an idea. Okay. So he played bishop d7. So the idea behind this is he's just targeting this pawn, as well as he can just move back to target this pawn, or even he can just play this to defend this either two moves to defend the pawn. That might be his four sequence of moves, I guess. So after bishop d7, f4, king g2, king g7, king f3, bishop d6, defending the pawn. Okay, now playing the bishop c8 move, attacking the a5 pawn, a4, bishop a5. Now all the pawns are on this opposite colors of their opponent's bishop. So I have white, but both the pawns are in dark squares. I have the pawns on the line, but the opponent has a dark square bishop. So after a5 move, so the black consolidated position, we're playing b4. Okay, now bringing in the bishop to d3, targeting on this pawn so that the king can move either way. So he played h6, breaking that pawn link. Okay, bringing this king to center, king e4. He plays the same thing. So king f6, bringing the king to the center. So king d4, bishop e7, bishop e2, bishop d6. So I guess there's no good moves for black. So probably he would be pushing for a draw, because the bishops of opposite color is a draw. Also, this pawn is queening to a dark square. Maybe that might also be a good way to prevent with the bishop. I'm not sure. So what happens up here? Is it a draw or it's a winning endgame for white? Probably what I would do up here is I'll just try to bring the bishop and try to kick. Okay, I guess this is a drawish endgame, bro. Yeah, this is a drawish endgame. So you can just play this. So my sequence of move should be playing something like this. Let's say he do the same move. I just consolidate, he did the same move, consolidate, he did the same move, consolidate. So probably this is a wedge-like structure where no one can attack the pawn. Also, I can also not cannot attack to the pawn. So he can just play this. If I try to move this way to attack, let's say he'll just bring the king in. So yeah, I'm not sure. Let's go to the move 51. Is it a draw game or win for white? Okay, the agent is calculating. Okay, it is a drawish endgame. So Okay, both played a great game. So start from the review. Just do the analysis with the engine. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. Developers of Spanish game on board. a6, Morphy defense. Okay, this is Morphy defense, and this is a Berlin defense, right? So yeah, so knight f6 is Berlin defense, and a6 is a Morphy's defense. So the reason is to keep the bishop targeting along this diagonal. So white chose to keep the bishop. Okay, I'll just go and do the Morphy's defense. So a6 was the question to the white bishop. You can take or you can just retreat, but you cannot stack c here. So b takes c6, bishop takes c6. Maybe opening a pawn along the center would be better, right? So white eliminates black's knight, weakening e5. Yeah. However, after d takes c6, knight takes. Okay, after d takes c6, knight takes e5 is met with queen d4 check. As the queen d4, targeting of the knight as well as the pawn. Okay, forking white's knight and e4 pawn. So although playable, the exchange is not the main line. So the sequence of moves is something like this. After the capture, he plays this, and he moves back. Or let's take the check. Even exchange the queens. So the game goes on like this. So it's much better for black in this position. Probably I'll just open the skill as well. So just okay, the stock piece is all right. So I can just play e4, e5, knight f3. Okay, let the stock piece be on it. So knight c6, bishop b5, the Morpheus defense, captures, pawn takes c6, d takes c6. It's not pawn takes d6, it's d takes c6. So it's a completely drawn game for the position. So now captures is a bad move for white. Okay. So the reason is after the knight takes d5, sorry, the knight takes e5, queen can play d4 move, attacking both. Queen can play e4 move, attacking both the. Oh, I can't draw the notations of here. So in chess.com or in Leechers, I can just hold the right click button and drag to see the notations, but I can't just do that in this skill. Okay, not bad. So he should be dropping back. Let's say he plays either the knight g4 move. Sorry. What's knight g? This way, right? So yeah, either knight g4 move or knight f3 move. So knight f3 is followed by check. Similarly for this d4 move, I guess. So I'm not sure. Okay, why playing g4 move? So after knight g4, I can give the check. Knight e3. Okay. So I thought of playing this, which is a blender, which is queen takes e2, takes, and the bishop takes g4. Okay, so this won't happen in the game. So yeah, so what's the best sequence of playing for a knight? So he should be playing knight g4. So after check, he should be playing knight e3. So yeah, this position is quite still not looking good for white, but I guess it's manageable to play this. So you can just develop the pieces and just so open the centers and develop the pieces and just castle. That would be better, I guess. Okay, so just get back into the game. So after the developers, so we're just studying the exchange variation of this Morpheus defense. So but in the actual game they actually played uh, not the main line, but not the exchange line, but play the bishop to a4, just bring the bishop to either b3 or c2 square. Okay, so okay, bishop a4 and Jarab the other knight attacking this pawn. He then defended this pawn. So reason is to, so after this takes, he can just play rook e8. So he should be defending this So even after different, okay, I'll just go to the skate for the further analysis. So what's the reason not taking the e4, knight takes e4? So I'll just go back to the, okay, so after this move, the move is defense, white plays bishop a4, so then knight f6, or this castle. So the reason to castle up here is, even though the knight takes e4, I can play the rook, sorry, what's the best move in the position is d4. Okay, so to open up the center along this way is a good move. Wow, I thought rook, not sure, I thought that rook e1 is a good move. So what if we play the rook e1? Okay, because of royish position, we can just simply attack the bishop, and then bishop takes c7. So after exchanging of pawns, I can just check. Okay, okay, got the line. So the reason for not playing this rook e1 move is the knight c5 move, which attacks the bishop a4, so which attacks the a4 bishop. So probably the good move is to open up. So this not only opens up the attacks on the center, but also it just defends the knight c5 square. So this defends the knight from playing this knight c5. So yeah, d4 is looking obvious to me. So after this, white's best response, the black's best response would be of b5, kicking the bishop back. So b5. Now we play the bishop b3 move, having the strong bishop on this diagonal, and then we have the actual d5 move, so which is defending the knight. Now d takes e5, bishop e6. Oops, sorry. So bishop e6, consolidating the center. The game goes on like this. I can just develop the other knight, bring the bishop, and centralize the rooks, and just go on like that. Okay, so got the idea behind the Morpheus defense. But what if he didn't capture this and what he played? So he didn't capture this thing, Savta Castle, he played the closed Spanish variation. So if black had chosen to capture the white's e4 on the previous move, okay, which is the knight takes e4, the open Spanish. Okay, this is called the open Spanish and this is called closed Spanish. Okay, so I'm not good with names. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to remember all those names, the opening games and the opening names of it. So, but I'll just try to link the patterns between them and try to maybe not the name, but the patterns on it. Okay. So probably I just studied the four different variations of this. So starting from the beginning, so we started by playing e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and then the bishop b5. So this is the Spanish or Lopez variation. So in this we have multiple variations. The first thing is the Berlin defense. We're playing the knight f6 move, and we also discovered the another variation which is the knight a5. Sorry, the knight a6, which takes the bishop back. So this is the Morpheus defense. So the actual response can be two things. So one is the exchange variation where the bishop captures the knight on c6. So and then d takes c6. So d6, sorry, d takes c6 and then b takes c6. So the b takes c6 is a Luthico variation, leaves white with a small advantage. So after b takes c6, white can win a pawn, but black gets compensation. So knight takes e5, queen e7. Now this where is e7? Okay, queen e7. Ah, okay, got it. So now this brings the knight to the e4 pawn and d4 to defend the knight, d6, kick the knight and capture the pawn. Okay, so in the exchange variation, there are two lines. So I'll just start from the beginning. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and then we have the bishop b5, which is the actual rule of us, and we go for the Morpheus variation. So the Morpheus defense, playing a6, and then dropping the bishop to b5. Then we have, sorry, instead of dropping, so let's say there's a two variations in the exchange variation. So one is to capture the knight, and after capturing the knight with the bishop by playing bishop takes c6. So there are two actual moves. One is the b takes c6. So the b takes c6 is a quite advantage for white. So the d takes c6 is an actual move which is played with top players. When the engine recommends is as a top move. So the reason to play with this is this opens the diagonal of the bishop as well. uh, I'm not sure what's the reason behind this. Maybe if this capture, we just already saw the line, right? So if the knight takes e5, then queen d4 is a move which attacks the knight and the pawn and capture back the lost pawn. But what if he takes with the bishop? Sorry, he takes the bishop with the b pawn. So if b pawn is attacked, then he can just go with the knight c3. Sorry, knight takes e5. Okay, which loses the thing. So what we should play up here is we should be playing d4, attacking on the center. The other good moves, so there are two good moves in this position. So one is opening up the center by playing d4, and another thing is playing the knight c3. So what is knight c3? So probably developing the other knight to the game. So these two are the top moves recommended by the ancient. Okay, so just discuss back up here. So actually back to the original thing. So just learn the four kind of variations in the rule opus, right? So one is, so this is the main line of it: e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and we play bishop b5. And opponent kicks the bishop by playing a6. This is more for defense. So there are two moves up here. One is to capture the knight or drop back. So bishop a4 or bishop c6. So if bishop c6 are played, there are two variations up here. So this is an exchange variation. The exchange variation have two subordinate kind of thing. So one is to capture the bishop with d takes c6 or b takes c6. So there are two variations. So if b takes d6, which is equalish position for both white and black. If b takes c6, then white is quite better than the black because we can just open up the center. We can just play the knight c3 move. We can just cancel our multiple moves, I guess. Okay, so but the actual game goes with the bishop a4, and we have learned one more defense up here for the black. One is the Morpheus defense, another thing is the Burnley defense. Okay, so I guess we just know some kind of the basic patterns or the variations in the rule of us. So okay, let's get into the game. Okay, he played the bishop. Sorry, he played the knight f6 move and showed castles. Bishop e2, which is the closed Spanish. So there are two things. We can just play this closed and open Spanish thing, right? So I haven't discussed that line. So let's go from the beginning. Just go from the beginning. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight a6, bishop c5, a6, bishop a4, okay, so knight f6, short castle, and then the top move recommended by Elchin is knight takes e4, but he played a defensive move, bishop e2, sorry, bishop e7. So so the bishop e7 allows the black to castle, right? So after this move, so what is, so this is the closed Spanish, right? What's the open Spanish? The open Spanish one is where he captures the pawn. So there are two types of openings. So one is the open and closed Spanish. So instead of playing bishop e2, which is the closed Spanish, if he takes the pawn with an, so the e4 pawn with the knight, which is the knight takes e4, which is an open Spanish. So let's go and just read this two things, right? Okay, in the open Spanish. Okay, wait a minute. I'll just go and just read these open Spanish. Okay, there are much more things to be learned on the, there are, there are deeper and deeper kind of like minor variations in the original mainline, and I guess we don't want to memorize or know all those variations. We just try to capture the patterns from it. That's it. So not trying to memorize anything. Okay, bishop e2, which is close Spanish. So I'm just not remembering the names. I'm just reading the names from here. That's it. Bishop e7, close Spanish, and then Okay, so what's the reason behind playing the closed Spanish? If black had to choose, oh, sorry, if black had chosen to capture the white's e pawn on the previous move, white could have recovered the pawn by tactically exploiting the black's multiple vulnerabilities on the half open e5. Yeah, that's true. So the bishop e7 removes one of those vulnerabilities by guarding the black's king. Ah, got it. So consecutively, black now threatens to win the free pawn outright via b5. Black now threatens to win the pawn outright via b5, removing the white's remaining tactical opportunity to win black's e-pawn in exchange for his own. Ah, got the idea. So bishop b3, then we can just capture the then we can just capture this e4 pawn, right? So how does white answer with this threat? So usually with rook e1, with white's e pawn finally defended, the threat of b takes the bishop takes c6. So the bishop takes c6 and knight takes e4 doesn't work. It's not critical as black has no longer has record from the pawn tactically with d6 and queen d4. So the d takes c6 and queen d4 because now this rook is defending this pawn, so actually that tactic is failing up here. Okay, got it. So queen e2 is an alternative which is called as the wall attack. The queen e2 which is an alternative instead of playing the bishop e2. Oh, queen e2. Okay, sorry, it's discussing for the white line, right? So I'll just remove these arrows. So this, instead of playing rook e1, queen e2 is an alternative move. So the queen e2 line, the plan is to hold the e4 pawn with the queen and move the rook to d1 in preparation for d2, sorry, for the d2 to be played d4. So again, this was the drawback of putting the queen on the file most likely to be opened by the black. So other ways of defending is knight c3. That's a good way, the Morphy attack. So on, or even the d3, just simply defending with the pawn, which is the Martinez variation. So interfere with the white's plan of c3 and c4. So white plan of c3 and c4. Sorry, what? White plan of c3 and c4 by guarding, bringing back this bishop to b2. Okay, bishop to c2. So white can also opt for bishop takes c6. The fantastical name delayed exchange rule was deferred. So deferred with b takes a4 and delayed with the castling or something like that. So compared to the main line of exchange variation, white has lost a tempo, but black can never no longer play. So f6 to hold the e-pawn. White can also argue that black's bishop on e7 is awkwardly developed compared to the normal exchange variation. So d4 is the center attack. Got the whole idea? Okay. So probably, so this is the closed Spanish and some of the minor variations of that. What if I just play the open Spanish? If I just capture this, that's the threat of playing this rook e1. So the best move is to here is to play the knight c5, which is just drop back the thing to here, attacking the bishop. So let's go and just analyze this in the engine, I guess. So after this rookie move, so we can just play this. So which takes if the bishop takes a c6 pawn, so bishop takes c6 and either pawn can be captured, but d takes c6 is much better thing. So then we can just capture the knight. So knight takes e6. So the knight takes e5 is much better than the rook takes e5. Because we have some kind of discoveries up here, we can just play the knight c6 or the other kinds of discoveries from this. So if the king is not defended somehow by playing the bishop e7, or sorry, bishop e7 or bishop e6 moves. Okay. So go the idea behind both variations. I'll just go back. So and we get in the game actually they play this closed Spanish thing and then defending the pawn with a rook e1 and then attacking the bishop. So we should be playing bishop b3 and then just consolidating the sorry, just consolidating the pawns and defending each other by playing the d6, kc3, having some square for bishop to move back if he plays the knight a5 move. So okay, I have another doubt up here. I'll just use the engine to do this step. So starts from e4, e5, knight f6, knight c3, bishop b5, a6, a4, bishop a4, then knight f6, short castle, bishop e7, and then rook e1. So he kicked the bishop by playing b5 and then bishop b3. Then short castles for black. So this is the current scenario, right? So why can't the black play the immediate knight a5 move? So what happens if the black plays the immediate knight a5 move? So let's okay. So after this castle, what did what did the black play? Sorry, I just missed something. Okay, he didn't at castle at. So before castling, he can just play this, right? But this leads to a strong attack, which is d4, okay, striking the center. So knight takes b3. Okay, why he just okay? So probably he's just defending the pawn before castling. So what if he castle right away? So which leads to playing c3 now. So bringing the bishop back and striking the center. But he played. Uh, what if he played this knight a5 move, attacking the bishop b3, bishop attacking the b3 bishop. So here we can just chop the pawn, which is a free pawn. So knight takes e4. So knight takes b3, a takes b3. What's the idea behind that? So bishop b7, directing the bishop along the diagonal. Because we don't have the light square bishop, and this pawn is vulnerable, so we should be playing d3 to defend it or something like that, I guess. So probably I'll just go to this one. Okay, so the reason to play this is the reason to play a d6 is to defend this pawn, and maybe in future you can just play this a5 move to attack the bishop. Okay, got the idea. So after bishop b3, so what are the possible moves for the black? You can just develop the bishop along this diagonal, in future targeting the number of attackers on this pawn. And since his king is in center, he should be castling quickly, so he can just castle, or even he can just defend the pawn so that he can just freely move his, the knight to a4 square, so the a5 square to attack on the bishop. So these are the following ideas that the black had. So in this, he played d6, defending the central e4, so e5 pawn. Then we have c3. So c3 is to have some space for the bishop b3 to drop back to c2, bishop c2, whenever the black plays the knight a4, a5, then bishop c2. So from here, the opening thing is ending. So we just go into some kind of like a decent structure. Now we should be developing the other pieces as well and try to bring more number of attackers near the king, try to exploit the weaknesses. That's it. So after this, he played c5. The black is quite aggressive up here, I guess. I'm not sure, but I guess he's quite aggressive because in chess pawns are the only one who can't read themselves back, right? So each and every sorry, the pawn forward move should be reasonable. So I guess the reason to play c4, sorry, the c5 is to avoid the d4 move. So because the d4 is too strong up here, so the e4 move, so the e4 pawn is defended twice, so he can't capture it. And let's say he plays some other move by, let's say he just develops the bishop, so then we can just strike upon the center by playing the g4 move. So what's the knight play up here? Or even he can just close the square, which makes this bishop to be blocked by the storm of pawns. So he can also bring back the knight to this. Okay, the knight c4. Okay, just bringing the knight to the outpost, having a putting some pressure on this b2 pawn. So whenever the black bishop moves, so he try to capture this pawn or even capture the black bishop. Okay, so to avoid that, he played this c5 move. Sorry, so he played the c5 move. So still he goes with d4. Now he didn't capture and consolidate on this thing. So he just developing the queen and maybe trying to castle or develop the bishop and try to develop the queen and rook along this file, which is an open semi-open file after the exchanges. So kind of like it will become an open file after the exchanges. So after this, he played the c7 move. So maybe to block the bishop g4. Sorry, yeah, the bishop g4. After queen 7, he played h3 to defend the bishop g4 move. Wait a minute. Okay, so I'm back. Uh, yeah. So he played d7. So what's the idea behind the d7? Probably, I'm not sure what's the idea behind the d7. D7 is not that good move, I guess. So what's the top move? The top move is to just castle. That's it. Probably the reason to play d7 is to bring the rook along the c file. So knight bd2. So the knight bd2 probably maybe playing the knight b3. So trying to exchange and bringing. I'm not sure this is bad move, right? Because you can just close the position and kick the bishop back. I'm not sure what's the idea behind that. Okay, we'll just go for the further analysis. So c takes d4, c takes d4. Now battling up along this diagonal, so along this file. So playing a rook c8, attacking the bishop c2. So should we guard the c2, sorry, go the c2 by bringing up other pieces, or just draw back the bishop to b1. So Tal played bishop b1, short castle, knight f1. So knight c6. Okay, so what are the reason behind that? So after castling, he's just trying to bring the knight, maybe rerouting to here or here, or even keeping the knight in this. There is no reason to keep the knight up here. So probably he's just planning to play f3 or g3. Now also this knight is isolated. Probably will just try to exploit that too as well. So he played the knight c6 move. Okay, so should be bringing the rook and connecting the rooks, right? So bishop on this diagonal is not having that much activity for the longer term plans. So the plans to reroute the bishop to b2, so having some longer term plans along this diagonal. So the opponent plays the opponent plays the rook e8 move, bishop b2, then bishop f8, defending the square probably in future. There may be some kind of discoveries which the opponent might forget. What happens in the top level chess, but it do happens on even the 2100 or 2200 chess competitive players. Okay, so playing the queen b7, what's the reason behind that? So the reason to play the queen b7 is, so even though we can just capture on the, sorry, I'm not sure. So the lines are getting much more complicated up here. I don't know what's the reason behind this. Probably to avoid, what's the best move for the black? The black's best move is to capture the pawn on d4. Okay, so he played the bishop, sorry, he played the queen b7. So now bringing the knight to d5, exchanging knights. Knight takes d5, pawn, so not be pawn, should be e takes d5, should be called e takes d5, and then knight takes d4, knight takes d4, pawn takes d4, queen takes d, sorry, before playing queen takes d4, should be playing the e8 move, otherwise he can just capture, right? So rook takes e8, rook takes e8, queen takes g4. So that's it. So now we just are passed away from the opening as well as the middle game. So probably this is, we are just in the middle part of the middle game, I guess. So okay, he slightly played the queen back to c8 square, probably looking at the square as well as exchanging the queens. Okay, developing the other bishop. Probably in this thing, I'll just try to calculate this move. What if he plays the e1 check? So after playing e1 check, h2 is the only possible move. So after playing h2, now I guess he can play what? f5 is the best move for the black? How do you know? F5 is the best move for the black. Probably yes, probably not. So he gave a chance to exchange for queens, but Tal declined by playing queen h4. Now he played f5. So f5 is the second best move in the position. The first best move is h6, depending on this. But he played f5, blocking this bishop along the diagonal. So f5, rook d1. I don't know, probably looking for some discoveries in future. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is a good tactic. So the bishop is in along the diagonal, so it should be capture, which results in losing the queen. Got the idea? Or even he can just capture. Oh, he can just go with rook e1, b takes c4, queen takes c4, queen takes c4, or even playing the bishop c. No, this doesn't work because this move is dead lost. You can just capture bishop. Okay, got the idea. So probably the only good move is to capture the bishop. Sorry, capture the queen on c4. So b takes c4. The game goes on like this. Okay, there's a good tactic up here for playing behind the move rook d1. Okay, targeting this pawn. So black defends it, and rook defends this pawn anonymously or in a unique way. As this wins the queen, you can just capture this, or even you can just play rook e1, capture, and then pawn takes this. We can just take the pawn with the queen, pawn takes c4, queen takes c4, winning the queen, so it should be capture, and the pawn takes c4. A favorable endgame for white. Okay, so the next set of moves is he plays rook e7. So rook e7, I'm not sure what it does. Probably defending along this diagonal. So it's the third best move in the position. So the other two good moves are playing h6. I guess probably h6 he thought that it would just weaken the white squares. I don't know, maybe, or even playing the e7, bishop e7, attacking on the queen, kicking the queen somewhere, and consolidating the position. Got the idea. So he played rook e8. So the idea behind this is uh, f4. What's the reason to play f4? I don't know. Engine also says these are the exact kind of moves which are good for the position. I don't know why f4 is that good move. Maybe what's the reason behind this? Uh, Attacking this pawn twice, so grabbing a pawn, so he can just play this right, and got it. So after this, let's say he plays some kind of a pawn move. So now queen d2. I'm not sure why f4 is a good move. So So what's the idea behind this? I'm not sure what's the reason behind playing this move. So he defended the thing by playing f7. Yeah, so probably this would be the sequence. So the reason to play this is to capture somehow. So let's say he plays this and captures with this, which ultimately loses in the position, right? So he can just play the bishop takes f5, queen takes f5, rook f7. Ah, wow, wow, wow. So this attacks this thing. So the best move is to play the rook b1. Sorry, the queen b1. So which defends the bishop. So after this check, you can just move the king so that there is no queen takes b2. Got the idea. So he played a rook f7, bishop e2, probably rerouting it to f3 square, defending this way. Okay, bishop e7, bishop h5. Wow, so this is attacking the rook, probably playing, pushing him to play g6. No, he didn't play g6. He played f8, rook e1, bishop d8, queen g3, attacking this pawn. Wow, this is kind of like an aggressive move. So, okay, after this sequence of moves, okay, this is a very bad move for black. Why? Why is this a bad move for black? So just turn off the engine, try to calculate the moves in your head. Wait a minute, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So white is much better in this position. So what's the move for white up here? How to exploit the weakness in the black's position? So just think what are the pieces that are different. So everything is different. There is no kind of like piece which are hanging up here. But positionally, black is better up here. So the reason is maybe we can just play this attacking on this pawn. So or even we can just bring the rook e1, attack on the bishop, and then play the g3 move. So my sequence of moves is playing uh, e1, or even he can just why not g6? Because he properly captured the sequence of moves. So he played. So the best motion in the sorry, the best move in the position is rook e1, makes sense. And then after that, After kicking the bishop, we'll just try to make some attacks on the square. So the best move for the bishop is bishop d8. Okay, he played that correctly. And then rook e3. So bringing the rook this way is better. He plays queen g3. So g5. G5 is better than g4. What's the remaining? Sorry, g6. Uh, takes, takes. Ah, got it. It's a mate, bro. Wow. Okay, got the idea. That's why he plays g5 instead of g6. Rook c1, attacking the queen, maybe forcing him to capture this pawn, maybe. So this allows him to play d1. So he should be playing some other move. Let's say he just drop back the queen somewhere up here. So I can just take the free pawn, and then let's say what's the best move for black? Queen e4. Okay, he brings queen e4. What's the attack for white? We can just capture this, right? Bishop b1 check, sorry, queen b1 check, capturing the bishop. Just bring the rook back, or even I can just play h2 because this is defended by the rook. So takes b2, rook takes d8. Ah, okay, I see the tactics. Rook takes d8, sure. Rook takes d8, rook takes d8, queen g5. After the check, pick up the rook. Now we have full bishop up, and we just win the game with ace. Okay, so after the rook c1 move, b4 is played. Um, so why this move? What are the other best moves in the position? Probably I don't know what's the idea behind playing this queen e3 move. What I would do up here is maybe I don't know because the position is so equal. I just don't know the ever board. I'll be calculating this position as an equal, but the position is not equalish because this bishop is much more stronger than this bishop. So this bishop is also blocked by their own pawns, but our bishop is quite active, and our rook is eyeing on this open file, but this rook is eyeing on to defend the pawn. So technically speaking, our position is much better than the black. But how to just look for the fourth attacks from this position? So in this position, how can we just start our attack? So yeah, probably I guess I to get c3, just see the engine lines, but after seeing the engine lines, it just making sense for me to play bishop c3. So trying to kick the queen away from this, uh, making queen to be either play a3 or e4, or even if sorry f4, or even h4, but not to this, because this will just exploit some kinds of discoveries, attacking on this pawn as well as defending this as well as attacking the queen. So yeah, so okay, I'll just see the line. So c3, f4 is the good move. Queen takes f4, pawn takes f4. Okay, should be saying g takes f4, not pawn takes. So now I'm attacking the pawn by playing bishop d2, h6. Uh, okay, I will develop a little bit better development move. So g5 allows him to defend. b4 attacking the other pawn. Rook c8, rook takes c8, bishop takes c8. Bishop takes c6, sorry d6. Bishop b7 attacking the other pawn. Bishop f3 defending the pawn. King h7. A good sequence of moves. Hmm. So when I just try to analyze positions with engine, probably when I just try to analyze much more number of games, at least maybe at least in hundreds or even thousands, I guess I'll just find the patterns that engine used to calculate the position. So that's why the top players or the super gyms are much better. Not even super gyms. No, I'll just include the all the masters and the above master level. The masters, the IM, the FM, or the CM, the NM. So everybody is just thinking from the perspective of the engine, I guess. It's not humanly possible, but still it do make a lot of sense. And also they're just finding these patterns in a quicker way. Hmm. Okay, so the next best move is queen e3. The second best move is queen e3. The idea is to exchange the queens and just go for the same sense of idea, exchange the bishop, no, not exchanging the bishops, attacking, exchanging the rooks, taking the pawn, taking the other pawn, and the game so goes on like that. So what's the main line? So he plays, sorry, what's the line that played with Tal? Tal played e3, but he didn't play f4, but he played a6, hoping to attack the a2 pawn and have some attacks on the bishop. It just goes on like that. But this further makes the position worse, because now he can just play the rook c2, so having some kind of nasty discoveries if the queen takes a2. So what else happens up here? So rook c2, queen b6, queen e1, h6, bishop c6 attacking the queen. Sorry, the rook c6 attacking the queen. Queen b8, rook takes a6. They are capturing the other pawn. a4, queen b4, bishop f6, bishop takes f6, rook takes f6, queen takes d4. Sorry, queen d4. There is no pawn on the d4, bro. Queen c8, attacking rook a7, attacking the bishop. Queen c1 check. Line goes on like that, right? So after this move, the best move in the position is playing c2. The second best move is a1. So even if he captures, okay, so I'll just calculate the lines up here. What happens if after this move he played this, right? I'll play this c2 move. What happens if he captures this? So this will just lead to play a rook e2 move. This is doubling up on this file. Okay, so now should be going back. So this also defends the square from the queen, as well as we have a two powerful attackers on the e5, and also we can just play the a7 move, attacking this bishop, so which can't be defended without playing this rook c7. Sorry, bishop. Sorry, the queen c7. Queen takes c7, bishop takes c7, and then now I can play the rook e7 move, attacking on both the bishops, I guess. Uh, let's say what's okay, that's the sequence of move, right? So a7, c, queen c7, queen takes c7, bishop takes c7, rook e7, and then rook d8, defending the bishop up here. Then we have a bishop f6, kind of like having some discoveries and attack on the rook. Then So after this move, we just go to this position. Okay, so after this move, takes, 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 comes here, takes, captures, I capture the bishop. So I have a full rook up there. Okay, got the whole sequence of moves. Bro, how the fuck these GMs to calculate these things in their mind? Wow, wow. They're just great, bro. Hot talent. So I thought of playing this move. So, but just now I realized he can just play this. So even if I capture the rook, okay, I'll just go for the sequence. So let's say he just pushing his pawn. We're trying to create some outward pawn. Ah, it takes h7. I just missed this move, bro. Now this is completely cutting off this king square. I can just play this one. What if he played the other way? I can just still go with this g5 check, takes d5. Okay, okay, yeah, this is a simple pattern. Taking g5. This is a mate. Hmm. So that's the reason. Okay, so the reason to play this is not to attack the rook, but to defend the king to escape from this way. Aha. So what if I just played this move actually in the position? So he will be playing f8. Now the h7 doesn't work. So it works, but it doesn't finish the game off. So he can just play the best move. Okay, let's say he just played the best move recommended by the Asian. Now I don't have this checkmate because the bishop on f6 is closing the squares for the king, and then you can just have a checkmate up here. But now it doesn't happen. So yeah, okay, wow. So the opponent is sorry, Tal is playing so tactically, bro. Wow. Okay, so these are the sequence of moves to play the a7. He just trying to capture this, right? So, but instead of playing this, hey, wait a minute. No. So after this, I calculated some moves, right? What are those moves? So the best move for Asian is to play. Ah, this is bad, right? I just we can't even play this, right? Okay, okay, go the sequence of moves. So, oh, Jana, bro, what did I just calculate this much time, bro? Hmm. Bro, what's the sequence of moves that I'm just calculating this much time, bro? So I thought of attacking this, but it should be on E1 or somehow like this, so that I can just double attack up here, right? Ah, got the idea. So after playing this, so I should not be playing this one, but I should be playing this move, pushing him here. No, that's not the move. After playing c3, should be playing f4. Exchanging the queen's move. That too doesn't work, right? Not sure. How, bro? How? I'm just calculating the longer lines. Maybe I'll just uh see my stream again. So the time somewhere around of 1 or 5 minutes. So I just discovered a deep down line. My rook is on e1, which possibly doesn't work right. So after this move, I'm not sure what's the move that I played or calculated up here. Rook c2 is the best move here. What did he there? So a2, got it. So a2. Now play rook e2. Now bring the queen back to a7. Now we can just go for the same sequence of moves and attack the bishop and have a winning endgame for me. Okay, go, okay, got it, got it, got it. So, but before that, he just attacks with this, captures, queen captures d7, queen captures b2, rook e1, and then from here it is a drawish position. So yeah, so this is a drawish move. So instead he should be playing the rook c2 move, which allows him to win a bishop in the longer run. Ah, wow, wow, that's awesome, bro. So a simple a rook c2 move is winning the game, but it's not simple. It's so tough to calculate each and every line. So probably I'll just be practicing more and more puzzles so that I can just calculate the longer positions or even the shorter positions by based on the intuitions, and longer position should be calculated. I guess you should be playing on intuition for the longer positions, right? You should be actually calculating those positions. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try that too. So we'll be gathering a free pawn and then try to exchange your pieces, and then yeah, so bring the king to the safer h2 square and win the game. So but Tal missed it and played the a7 move, so allows him to play the g2. So he properly utilized the move uh, by playing the queen d2. So counter attacking the bishop. So after the attack, we play e1. Just try to exchange pieces. So yeah, we have some tactics up here. So after this, he should be playing the e6 check. Yeah, e6 is much better than this, right? Probably Tara is looking for some tactics, some other tactics that the normal human don't see. Okay, so he go for this check. So yeah, we already discussed this line, right? So if he captures, then I'll just capture the bishop, and then just drop back. I'll just have the okay. So you can just capture the pawn. So that's the line up here, right? So what if he didn't capture the bishop and moves away? So that's what most GMs do. So they don't capture a piece for free. So that's the unwritten rule when you play against a GM or a kid in the local chess academy. Don't capture the free piece. Okay, d6. Okay, playing the queen g2. Sorry, queen g7, attacking the bishop on f7. Wow, this is the way tactic. So after capturing the rook on f8, queen takes f5, uh, rook takes rook d, the rook e8, queen takes e8, bishop takes e8, and then bishop e7. Okay, so pawn takes, sorry, g takes h3, g takes h3, uh, e7, bishop e7. Then bishop d7, attacking the pawn on f5. So f4, g2, and the game goes on like this. So this is the drawish endgame. So they agree to a draw on move 51. Wow. So I'll just give a good rating for the middle game because the middle game is so complicated. So even the opening itself, but the opening is quite famous, so most people just know those lines. So I would say middle game is much better than the opening, and the opening is further better than the end game. So here this is a simple end game, but probably a 2200 to 2400 player can just easily make this as a draw against GMs or even super GMs. But even in this position, Magnus would grind a lot. Hmm. He just try to grind a lot, trying to bring the fast pawn to make queen out of it. Okay, I'll just add this game to the study. So probably waited 6 consecutive days of analyzing 6 different games from the chess.com. Sorry, the chessgames.com. I'll just go back. Then what is this? Player of the day is Livone. Oh wow, feed rating is somewhere around 2369. Okay, maybe we'll just play some games in Lichess. So probably some blitz games would be better, I guess. Let's play e4. Can just capture. Okay, got the idea. So if I play this, he kicks, and this goes on like that, right? I don't know. Maybe a simple g3 move. Okay, I'll just capture, allow him to tell up his. Okay, check on this way. This pawn is defended. Okay, now gel up the bishop. Should be defending like this way, I guess. Not, I'll just capture this, but he can just cancel. Capture. I'll just play this. Captures, captures, captures. Okay, I can just simply play this. I can just go here. Okay, and just attack the bishop. Uh, Probably going for this sequence of moves. I'll just attack the bishop further and try to castle long. Oh wow, that's a great move. So I didn't see this move. So captures. There's no sequence of good moves in it. So I should be capturing somehow. I'm not sure how to do it. I'll just capture this way. So captures or pawn captures. So if the pawn captures, so just castle long. This pawn is under attack. Uh, maybe, maybe not. After this thing, I'll just go for instead of the bishop this way. So I'm just lagging the development. So probably he'll just bring the knight somehow. Should be defending that thing. Okay, probably I'll just develop the bishop with tempo, connect the rooks as well. Okay, he's I guess to play this right. Uh, I'll just block it, attacking the pawn, blocking his idea of playing h5, sorry, b5. Okay, defending the pawn, not bad. I'll just try to bring the rook even develop on this file. Ah, just back and relax. If he plays this, I'll just go here. If he plays this, I'll just lock the position. That's it. Okay, I'll just come back here. Hmm. Can play. Okay, sorry. I can just play here. We do here. He captures. Uh, he takes. I bring my queen here. Okay, I'm just losing on time. Probably. Don't know how to develop the rooks. Should be running my queen. Sorry, the king to the other side somehow. Ah, fuck! I just blundered the game. Yeah, a little bit of time pressure. I'm not sure how to just proceed from here. I'm just giving every pieces for free. Okay. So I just played. Sorry, I just made so many blunders. Probably I should be managing my time in a much better way. Okay, let's go for another game. Okay, starts with e4. Okay, Sicilian. Hello, Sicilians. Let's try the center and exchange the center pawns. Okay, chain up to the knight. Defend the knight. Okay, draw back the knight. Probably. I said I can just play this. I'll just open castle. Okay, this allows this, right? So probably just we'll just do the h3 to block the bishop g4 move. Then I'll just try to play the bishop g2 and short castle. Tax, no worries. I'll just exchange A knight for a bishop. Nice. I didn't expect this one. Uh, Probably I can just go for a long castle as well. So just block captures, no worries. But I don't like to exchange the knights that way, which will just destructure my pawn. Probably I'll just capture and pin the knight and castle this way. Okay, he blended a piece. Hmm, I don't know. Bishop takes this F moves. This is not so good. I can just go for this right. So his idea is to kick this thing and capture this. Okay, okay, allow for it. So just capture this. I'll just okay, I'll just capture. Bring the queen into the game, checking this ways. Now we can just go for this check. I'm not sure how to progress from here. I can keep this check. He's just forced to move back, and then I'll just defend. I can't defend the rook, right? So maybe I'll just defend this pawn first, then go for this and just come back. Can I sack? I'll just try sacking maybe. It might also end in a draw, right? Worst case scenario is a draw. The best case scenario is a win for white. So I'll just sack. Should be bringing the bishop somehow. I'm not sure how to do it. The I don't know. Okay, can I just take this or so checking this, this, have open file. He'll just have this open file. Just tell F. Okay, this is a good game for me, I guess. Okay, I'm just losing a pawn up here. Okay, it's an easy win game for me. I'll just stack, just further attack, and grab every pieces. Oh, I just lost some time. Hmm, bro, I'm just a bad player, bro. I'm not good with the blitz, I guess. So whenever I try to play the games by analyzing it deeper, I'll just losing on time. So probably the best way to play blitz is not to play the online chess. OTP will be pro. Sorry, the OTP chess. Sorry, blended the. Okay, he didn't see that. So that's what the online chess is. Can you still play this? He didn't. Probably I can just attack the bishop, I guess. I don't know the reason behind that move. Uh, okay, the queen is trapped, I guess. Can play this. Not sure how to progress from here. Oh, wait a minute, I'll just plug that charger in. Okay. Hmm. I'll just bring the other rook into the game, maybe. And play this. Let me just drop back. Okay, I'm just losing the rook. I just blended a rook. Not. Okay, I don't want to blend another rook. Oh, I don't know how to choose progress. I'm just losing. Just completely losing, bro. Hmm. I don't know how to progress from here. Okay, he blended the queen. Um, so blitz is not the actual chess. Yeah, this is fun for some category of people, but to play the actual chess, you should be have some taste of the classical chess. Calculating the monster variations of lines that we usually don't try it ourselves. I don't know what I'm just doing. I'm just clicking moves faster. That's it. Don't want to move, don't want to sack. I don't know what to do here. Just simply drop back. Hmm. You can sack this and just drop back it. Okay, now my position is quite solid. Uh, what shall I do now? Shall I sack? I don't know. Probably. Oh, bro. Mouse left. Hmm. That's the reason why you should be playing with some calmness. So I blended the whole bishop. That's nice. Blocking this. Okay, is this still going for that? Probably I'll just move away my queen from this diagonal. Okay, fucking great. I'll just resign. So why a blender? I did a blender. That's awesome. How to resign, bro? This is resign, right? Okay, the last game. I don't want to waste my energy on playing Blitz. That too, not calculating the moves. Nah. He's just playing with my knight. I guess no more attacks now. Got it. Double attackers. Black's every piece is under attack, right? I'll just capture it. Um, what shall I do here? Just have to set up some tactic along this diagonal. Still the diagonal. Sorry, still the tactic is valid, right? You can just capture with check and not bad, I guess. So captures. Not bad. Okay, let's capture the. Okay, I'll just defend this way. Okay, it is an easy win game for me. Should be able to convert this with ease. Probably not, I guess. Okay, I'll just do one more. Okay, I'll just stop the stream after this game. Can just capture the pawn. I can capture the other pawn as well. I'll just defend this pawn. Okay, he resigned. Okay, I guess then I'll just end the stream. We'll just meet on the next meet, I guess. Okay, bye bye. Take care.